Hello, uh, this is Rakso here, and this is like a Christmas gift, you could say. I thought I may come back to making character guides on my YouTube channel, like I used to do. Like, for example, my video with the umbrella list for Van Helsing for years ago. Yeah, so that's basically it. Like you can drop out the channel and expect to have more like commentary guides for characters making in different action RPG games, because I'm playing different action RPG games. Uh, I have a bit of experience, maybe quite the experience and knowledge in quite a handful of them. Uh, Right now I'm playing a game called Inquisitor Martyr from Warhammer 40k universe, and there's like a season going in this game called the Season of Escalation, you can see. And there's also like a new class which freshly released to this game like 1 month ago, called Sister of Battle, Adepta Sororitas. So I'm playing the new class. Obviously, that's one of the things which brought me back to this game on top of the season. So I made a good guide for this class. I might share in details how it works, what it does, and how to build it. Yeah. So we'll go in details for this character. Yeah. Uh, I'll explain attributes, skill points, items I'm using, why I'm using them. That's it. Uh, okay, so this class is Spin2Win. Uh, like you just spin, and what's interesting about this specific class is that the spin is quite revolutionary, I would say, because not only do you really attack in melee, but you also shoot enemies in range while you are spinning, so that's fucking... It blew my mind, because in other games you can just like you spin and that's it, you do that in melee. And sometimes you have games like Path of Exile where you are like this cast on crit and you spin and also cast spells out of the spin, but you don't really deal the damage with the spin itself then. And here the case is different, because not only do you spin and deal damage with the spin, but you also shoot and you also deal damage with the shoot, so it's like really compelling to me to play that way. I feel like it's something new. I find it refreshing. Uh, this character is radical in this game. More radical morality. Uh, it has these skill points in here unlocked. They are pretty obnoxious to unlock in this character case, because this build revolves around not using any of those. Like, I'm not really using I'm basically not using Act of Faith, and nor do I'm using like the embodied saint form, which is another mechanic from this class, and nor I'm using banners, so unlocking each of those is quite a pain in the ass, but needs to be done for the extra skill points in here. Attributes, that is, I mean. Just saying. You just can't go without this, I would say. Yes, this is huge improvement for the character. Anyways, a lot of points into contempt skill tree, contempt attributes, because contempt is base damage, and base damage is like the most important thing in this game if you want to deal a lot of damage to enemies, because every single fucking, like, you know, calculation we need to start from somewhere, and this something in this game is base damage. So the best way to have like the highest base damage is a lot of attribute points into the red attribute and have like the highest possible item level weapon so that your damage is the highest. Whoa, sorry. As well as having good signums. I only have level 90 signums. I wasn't lucky enough, but you get the point, and you know, re-roll it, have it as highest. I have one off everywhere. Yeah, that would cost. I know I have 18,000 credits, but I'm kinda lazy with re-rolling this to be super perfect. I'm fine with how it is. Anyways, some attack speed, suppression damage bonus, kinda nice, whatever. Critical hit chance not really needed on the character because the weapon gives literally guaranteed critical strikes for 3 seconds chance to hit, like you hit a lot of times with this character. That's basically permanently up, so you always crit with this character. Resolve is in here just for the shield drain, so the 15% of damage that I deal I get as an energy shield on top of my HP. You also have like this max HP gained on kill, but that's on kill. You don't always expect bosses to be surrounded with enemies, so that's less reliable, but the shield drain is pretty cool, I would say. And passion, I have maxed out passion just to have the potency at the end, which increases the duration of my inoculator bonuses for my character, the yellow ones in here, so my murder dusts in here affect my character for much longer. Yep. So that's it. You also have like the inoculator capacity, that's also fine. Freedom, increased maximum movement speed. Cool. Yeah, it's the same as this perk in here. Now let's go to the perks. I'm using Stride of the Blessed, Call the Weak, Blessing of Saint Victorious. Stride of the Blessed gives me movement speed, but it doesn't give me regular movement speed, like for example the skill wood, yeah. Sorry for my English occasionally. It's weird. I'm trying to improve on that. Anyways, Stride of the Blessed gives maximum movement speed, you can tell. I don't have like maxed out my movement speed because we have ways to gain movement speed on this character to cap out this one, as well as Berserk tokens, but we'll get to that later. Call the Weak, damage bonus against. Damage bonus against is really worth stacking in this game, because damage against is literally a multiplicative way of saying it's like the multiplicative damage, not the additive damage. And it's like saying enemies take increased damage from this, increased damage taken, so that's not like the same as plus 50% damage to your character is the damage which the enemy takes. It's a lot better, so Call the Weak is basically like the best damage improvement. Blessing of the Sand does what it does, literally it's like a cheese perk in the game. It makes you never able to lose more than 30% of your max HP to a single hit, so even if the enemies deal like fucking 6 billion damage in here, they still would not be able to bypass that. Meanwhile, damage taken is supposed to be the way to bypass the damage penalty. So the best way to skyrocket your damage in this game is to make your character not really deal damage of its own that much, as it is to make the enemies take increased damage from you. Just don't play around your character, play around enemies, so that makes it easier. Yeah, so this I'll explain. Skill tree. This just for the vulnerability. Some quality of life. Convenience. If the ammunition reload. This for our main skill, the single target skill in here. So when the enemy is weaker, I thought it might be nice to take this node, so it deals even more damage and more suppression. So enemies which are already below a certain HP threshold take even more damage now. This you take just for the cooldown in here. And that's it. And also like the EOE, like you max this out because you need to unlock this, right? Suppression gained on area of effect kill, so area of effect is your main skill, the whirlwind, the Spin2Win, so that's some extra convenience, little bonus, quality of life, debuffs, multiplicative damage, enemies take 10% increased damage from you, with the mercy kill from bleed, another debuff, vulnerability stack, critical hit strength, that's nice. This is a way to protect against damage over time. Dots which affect your character take half the time only to damage you. They end up a lot faster. This is only used to disable enemy HP regeneration when they are hit. The Diablo 2 kind of thing, yeah. This is useless because our weapon already gives guaranteed critical hit chance, but the torment is nice, I guess. I'm not really sure, but I took it anyway for like experimentation. Red Thirst is good, and Berserker Rage is basically sustained, so critical hit strength. The bottom part is a lot better than the north part, but yeah, I think it's worth taking it. Damage over time deals only half its damage to us. This is good because, you know, if the damage over time is lower than the Blessing of the Saint, then you take less damage on top of that, so it's worth it, I would say. Hit attacks is hit vulnerability, just and burning. It's debuffs. It's only useful if you have like the Psalm Doctrine, the hit aura in here. It's like a Diablo 2 rune ward, you could say. You socket in your item these four, as you can see, and you get the fear aura. Same as in my armor, I've socketed those 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for this I got like ethereality. I'm ethereal when I'm low HP. We'll get to that. This is like the defensive layer, so whatever. And this is like the explosion, because explosions are fun. I also have explosion in here. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that's why this skill tree is for. Warfare, suppression or hit dealt, okay. Multiplicative damage again. Enemies take 10% increased damage. 10% increased damage taken by enemies when they are feared. Feared when you are enraged. That's easy to do. We'll get to that. Movement speed in here. Cooldown in here. You don't take this because this character, its resists are inexistent and whatever, but you are capable of doing the top end game content with this character because its sustain is just high enough. It's sustain and cheesing is good enough, so that you don't need this. You are pretty much always full HP on this character, because before enemies get to your HP they need to go through fuck ton of shield, so yeah, you don't need to take this, just doesn't give you anything. Radical, we are radical, so this like warp conversion of our damage. We are capable of doing warp damage, and then there's like the exposed weakness, because that's the only way we can apply warp vulnerability with this character, no other way. Yeah, that's it. Let's go through the gear. So it's pretty simple. Purity, Seal of Trauma, like probably the best item in this game, I guess, in my opinion. Infinite bleeding on critical hits, so enemies bleed, and this way we can utilize all the multiplicative damage. You know, the 10% increased damage taken by enemies, mercy kill, 90% increased damage taken, 17% increased damage taken, 18% increased damage taken, 37% increased damage taken. Yeah, basically that's it. Attributes, yeah, that's it. Purity, Seal of Trauma, your best way to get bleeding on enemies, literally guaranteed, because this character is always critting enemies. Crit chance doesn't really matter, because you just deal guaranteed critical hits, and that's it. Neural Imprint, Enrage Token on critical hit, and just, you know, attribute, damage, this doesn't matter, that all that much, actually doesn't give anything. The multiplicative damage, increased damage taken by enemies, this doesn't matter, like loot quality, okay, whatever, but you just care of these three the most, I'd say. When you get 20 enrage tokens, you deal 100% increased damage, but that's not the multiplicative one, it's like the additive from your character. You get it, I guess. When you get 5 enrage tokens, then you have the fear aura in here, and this is also like chance to fear on hit, because I'm also like a ranged character, you know, and fear aura is just for the 5 meters around me, so if I want to fear enemies which are further away from me, I need to fear off on hit, right? So I can make use of increased damage taken by enemies which are feared from Smite the Feeble. Yeah, that's it. You get it, I guess. Yeah. Better suppression damage for enemies which are feared. That's good for bosses. So I can actually drop my bosses' suppression bar to low enough to kill them. It's good against this season enemies such as the Eldari warlocks, all those fucking annoying how are they called? Forgo harbingers, yeah, that's it. And fear aura, it's not actually like enemies around you are feared, like enemies around you are spammed with fear, like enemies can resist fear in this game, but this can resist the buffs in this game, enemies, but this aura makes it so they just can't resist it, because it keeps reapplying on them all over and over, so the enemy gets this fucking debuff like, you know, let's say 10,000 times a tick, so that's insane. And then you have like this signum in here, chance to add general vulnerability when the target gets a debuff effect. Fear is a debuff, so if enemies keep getting feared so many times, like fucking 30 billions of times per a tick, then they keep getting debuffs, and they will always get the general vulnerability from here, and because they keep getting this general vulnerability from here, they also keep getting the slow and shock from this implant in here. So that's how it works. You just need 5 enrage tokens. Just create 5 sheets and you get 5 enrage tokens, and then just try to stay within 5 meters of a boss with your character. It's pretty easy because for the most part this character is melee, so you will do that just even unintentionally, and then it's easy, you know, the enemy gets like vulnerability, so he takes more damage. Bosses can be slowed and shocked by all, but other enemies can, so you know, good shit. Okay, other than that, Berserk tokens per massacre effect. Massacre, so when you just fucking blow up a pack of mobs, then you get Berserk tokens. You can have 100 Berserk tokens at maximum, and each Berserk token normally is like 2% damage increase, I think, and some movement speed. And then you get this. I have this Signum in here, even more damage for Berserk token, so in total 7% damage increase for the additive one for Berserk tokens. So 100 Berserk tokens, 7% times 7, so you know, 700% damage dealt. The additive one, the same one in here, but you know, it still adds up with the damage taken, so it's worth it because it's really cheap. It's cheap to just blow up 700% damage increase like this. Easiest source of damage. You just need these two and this line, and you get it like 700% damage increase just like that. So yeah, those items are, you can see, attributes, debuffs, damage, cooldown, so it's damage, critical hit strength, damage, damage. This is the same, damage, cooldown, it's damage, this is like damage, critical hit chance, HP gained on critical hit, so it's sustain, critical damage again, it's damage. This character is entirely damage. And also when I have 100 Berserk tokens, I have HP regeneration per Berserk token. So, you know, 100 Berserk tokens, 1600 HP regeneration per second. That's in case I would be ethereal, because when I'm ethereal, like, when I'm about to die, I can become ethereal, and when I'm ethereal, I can't attack enemies, but I can still regen my HP based on the Berserk tokens I had, so you know, I can heal myself even though I'm not attacking. And same way I have the reflect in my armor, so I can reflect damage back to enemies, and when I do damage reflect, the kinda like Counter Strike or something like reflect retaliation damage, so I can get HP from that, from life drain, from the retaliation, so I always have a way to heal my character even though I'm not doing any actions with him, so with her, sorry. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, and this is like the safety. Teleport away if you are about to suffer lethal blow. This is from the morality radical. I'm radical in this character. The Puritan would have like damage over time immunity armor, but you don't really need this because the sister has like this. They affect you only for half time. Same as Crusader, so wasted power in my opinion. And then in case this is on cooldown, if this one is on cooldown, then you can be ethereal, and then if you are ethereal, this one is on cooldown passes, you can no longer be ethereal if you are about to die in this short window of time, but then you can teleport away. So basically these two keep replacing each other, over and over, and you just can be immortal that way if you are careful and you are not standing within damage over time effects. Yeah, so well, that's it. And also you have like the blood bound, so that's also a way of healing me in the background. So that's this character. This isn't flat 10, it's 10%, so that's more energy leech. You can see I have 35%. I have double 10% in my gear and 15% from 15 points of resolve. Uh, that's it. So on this character is basically just sustain machine, and then cheese the game with like god mode phase or teleport away and just regen HP in the background. So that's how you play this character. Yeah, and that's it. And then you have like everything else in this character is just damage, so it's not worth going through. Damage, 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 damage. Damage cooldown for your whirlwind skills or your Spin2Win, so that's also damage. Cooldown is basically damage. Yeah, so that's it. Characters over. Act of Faith, I'm using this one. I'm not even using the active part, I'm only using the passive part of it, like the 15% attack speed, because it's more animations, multi-crates, and it affects my wall character, so that's a lot of damage gain, DPS gain just from this. And yeah, that's it. The character is done. Full explanation in detail, I guess. There's nothing more I could add on top. I suppose, in case there are questions, there's the comment section for that under this YouTube video. We can go with a mission, some example, so I can show you how this character prospers. 94% penalty, let's say. This is kinda not quite like the top endgame, but kind of endgame, so you can tell like based on the performance. And yeah, so like it said on this character, you only really play just like the regular way, you just spin and occasionally you chain sword through your enemies, and that's it. Yeah, basically Chainsaw Man, you could say. KW. Yeah, that's it. And this is just some example mission with this character, like the gameplay, in case you would like to see it. I'll try to kill most enemies in here, just to show how it goes. As you can see, I'm starting to get tokens. It's slowly blowing up my character. Yeah, 54 Berserk tokens. Slowly more and more. Some explosions going. This was the Harbinger. Also easy. I should drink my inoculator. I forgot to do that. So now my damage is even higher at this point right now. You can tell it's going pretty well, so basically that's it. Simple character, simple gameplay. Really, you don't really need anything. You don't need to turn into Saint or place standards or anything. Super simple gameplay that just blows up this game. And enemies in here. You might struggle with bosses on 99% and above, but you know, just if you play it right, then you won't have problems. Like, just try not to get knocked down into a permanent damage over time whatever, you will be fine. This character gives you a lot of room for mistakes. Like, look, I got shot with those and I'm ethereal. I could not die from them, so yeah, it's pretty simple and chill to play. Enjoy, I guess. Yeah, so that's the mission. Uh, well, cheers. See you.